Hello. Thanks for coming. Penny, are you over here, Penny? Penny. Come here, Penny. Come here, Penny. Come here, Penny. Penny is here. It's funny, she has turned into kind of like Sheldon used to do. Come here, Penny. Come here, Penny. Come here, Penny. As soon as I would press record, oh, Sheldon used to appear. Yes, I know. And now, I didn't even know where Penny was. And then I pressed record. Hello. And she did appear. Penny does not often so much like to be held, but we're working on this. Aren't we, Penny? Anyway, Penny, why don't you go up here? There you go. Go walk around. There you go. Say hello. You gonna do the cat scan? Huh? That's okay. You can stay there. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Do you know what we're doing today, Penny? Hmm? Do you know what we're doing? No, you don't know what we're doing. There we go. There you go. Okay, yes, get up there. What we're doing here... Hello, Penny. What we're doing here today is looking at a Commodore PC10 3. I had forgotten I had this. Hello, Penny. How's the machine looking so far? Hmm? How's things? Ooh, big stretch, good girl. Anyway, let us talk about this. It's funny. Hello. I was watching an interview not so long ago. Hello. That Chuck Peddle gave. And one of the things supposedly he did after... You okay? You okay? After leaving Commodore was to go off with some other people and be the first people to make... No. Penny. Excuse me. Not up there, dear. There you go. There you go. I know. I know, Penny. Just a moment here. Penny. What happened there, Penny? Oh, dear. Oh. Okay, Penny, you're on my chair. Hello, why don't you come back over here? Penny. Penny. Excuse me. Penny, why don't you come over here? Oh, over here. Come on over here. I gotta sit back. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. Okay, so. Yes, I don't know Chuck Peddle's complete history. I knew he was very important in the world of Commodore. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, after leaving Commodore, supposedly, he went off and with another group of wonderful computer nerds came up with the first IBM PC compatible. And I have no clue if he had anything to do, and I suspect he didn't, with what came out. Commodore did, as they were a big computer company, and the PC was taking over the world, which it pretty much has. Came out with IBM compatible machines. Now, for me, excuse me, Penny, you left me with some cat hair here. For a while, they did seem to be intrigued with the thought of their machines being somewhat IBM compatible. For example, there was the sidecar. And that was a thing that quite literally stuck on the side of an Amiga 1000 that was maybe about half this size, that lets you run IBM PC programs. Hello. Hi, Penny. And then, of course, in the Amiga 2000, there was the bridge card. I think there were two different versions of the bridge card. I think there was the XT and the AT. And, you know, they were quite wonderful and quite dandy, and they worked just fine. To me, it almost seemed like they were saying, yeah, we're the Amiga, and yeah, we're better, but we're going to let you run your PC programs too. Anyway, I'm not sure if that helped the machines or didn't help the machines, but certainly they are an interesting technology. Anyway, so here's a PC10 3. The first ones that came out, I think, were longer, wider, more like the original PC things. And they had a variety of models, but I guess they figured, well, if everyone wants to buy these things and we're trying to, you know, make money, we might as well sell them. I have a story. There's always a story. You know, it's sad in the computer world. There will always be people who I don't know how to put this properly. Take advantage of people. Scam them, really. Lie to them. Lie. Yes, lie. Or perhaps lie is too strong a word, but certainly misrepresent things. For example, when I lived down in the South in the United States and had a computer store, there was another fellow. He had been a Commodore dealer. I guess he kind of was a Commodore dealer. I'm not sure his exact status. But we kept getting these people in, and they had been his customers, and they often had difficulties, to which he was not very helpful. But there did seem to be a trend in that they all seemed to come in, especially if they had the Amiga 2000, and they all had a bridge card, and the hard drive that was in the machine was not on the Amiga side, it was on the PC side. And never, ever, ever did we find one of their machines with an Amiga, a hard drive working on the Amiga side. Anyway, one time, and we would help the people and, you know, get things resolved as best we could, whatever their issues were, and oftentimes that meant helping them get a hard drive on the Amiga side as well as on the PC side. Ooh, Henny, what have you done to me? Oh dear. Anyway, one time I said, you know, it seems that, you know, people are coming in and they all have the same sort of issue, and they all got their computers at this one place. And he said, oh, well, yeah, I mean, the only way, this fellow, because we hadn't started to sort things out, we hadn't talked to him about it. He just came into the thing and said, oh, yeah, hard drive on the PC side. He said, oh, yeah, well, that's the only way the hard drive will work in these machines. I looked at him. I said, really? And, who told you that? And he said, well, this guy. He said, he says, yeah, you can get a hard drive, but you got to get the bridge card, and you got to have it on the PC side. Now, to be fair, this did work. But it certainly wasn't as fast as on the Amiga side of things. And anyway, to make a long story short, I think the guy was just scamming people. The bridge cards were not that cheap. Certainly doing all the diddling around to get the hard drive on the PC side and have it work on the... Anyway, it was a lot of dicking around. And now, it is possible this guy was just misinformed that that was the only way to make it work, but I don't think so. See, there was the Amiga 2000 HD hard drive. There was the 2500. There were other things. that had hard drives. We did, when people came in, if they wanted to get a bridge card, we would certainly set them up. We would get it working. We would show them how it worked. We would often, if I remember rightly, you could access the hard drive on the Amiga side from the PC. Some people wanted separate hard drives. You know. But really, we were there to be helpful, and yes, you know, we were happy to sell people what they wanted at a fair price, and with our knowledge and know-how behind us. And you know, there were times if we didn't know something, I would find out what we didn't know. But anyway, so here is a PC10-3. Now, it's kind of dirty, but I think it's, you know, nothing a magic eraser won't fix. I have not plugged it in years. This one, from what I remember, it has a hard drive and 2 floppy drives. I will start to see what's what. I do not know if I ever had a keyboard for this. I don't think I do. I don't think I do. So, you know, I may not get far. But anyway, I will experiment and see what's what. This is really not my thing. It's not. I mean, I have VIC-20s, I have Commodore 64s. Oh, hello, Penny. I have 128s, Amigas and things. And I guess this was just sort of an amusement. So, bye, Penny. Indeed, I may put this up for sale. I'm sure there are people who are more into the IBM side of things who would find this more interesting than I. Somehow, I would suspect. Anyway, so I need to find cabling and such and see what's what with this machine. I don't remember how many different models of the PCs that Commodore came out with, but there were, I mean, they kind of kept up with the times. And was Chuck Peddle involved in any of that? I would say probably not, but maybe indirectly, perhaps, I don't know. Anyway, I do remember them being, as IBM clones went, they were pretty fine, and they were made by, you know, it wasn't just, yeah, let's order a bunch of parts and put it together, although there's nothing wrong with that. They had a good name behind them, and certainly they had experience with the sidecar and the bridge cards, and for those that needed to have a PC, Commodore was happy to sell it to them. They were. So stay tuned. I will explore this machine further and see if it is functional or not functional. One thing that I do like about it is, and this should just make it easier to test, is it does have, and I don't know if a lot of clones had this, it has a monochrome video output that is the same as what you would find on an Amiga, or of course an Amiga 1000, it was a color monochrome, or color composite output. So I don't need to diddle around and find all kinds of exotic cables that I'll never find. I just need an RCA to RCA plug, and I should be able to at least fire this up and see what's what. Anyway, if you have any comments, if you know more about the IBM PCs, I'd be happy to know more. Knowledge is a good thing. And of course, because this was filmed in March of 2020, during the coronavirus pandemic, please stay home. Go to the store when you must. You know, I mean, you've got to keep living, but right now, I mean, the pandemic of 1918 and 1919, they estimated killed, I think they estimate a third of the population of the world got it. This was the Spanish flu. which I think they estimated that to be, at the time, perhaps 500 million people got sick. And they estimate that 50 million people died. That's a lot of people. I've heard estimates that if this virus is not somehow contained, stopped, minimized, that perhaps 225 million people could die from it. And that just doesn't mean old people. It means all kinds of people. And I seem to remember in the there's a story I read online about the pandemic of 1919, and I think they put black window shades on houses where everybody in the house had died from the Spanish flu. I don't want to see any black window shades around my neighborhood, and I'm sure you don't want to see them around yours. So, let's all suck it up, stay home. The governments say that they will help us with financial matters. I think we should let them. We should demand it of them. Because, you see, if this really does take hold, it could easily bankrupt most countries with the medical expenses. Either that or they just let people die. So, stay home, play with your computers, hang out with your family that lives with you, only go out when you have to. Lately I've seen in the grocery stores they put all these tape marks down on the floor to keep people separate from each other. You know, just if we all do our little bit now, we won't have to bury our grandparents, or maybe our parents, or our children won't have to bury us. So, stay tuned for more exciting episodes about the Commodore PC10-3. Until we meet again. Bye for now.